Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the all-new 2023 Lexus LX600 Luxury. Huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So this LX600 is finished off in a very beautiful, almost champagne-like color, and for the luxury trim level, these start at $108,000. Underneath the hood for this all-new LX600, you'll find a 3.4 liter twin-turbo V8. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 409 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,600-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds with a top speed of 130 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.1 gallons. You'll expect to see around 17 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.2 inches. Its overall length is 200.6. It has a width of 78.3 and a height of 74.6 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for the all-new LX600, let's start off with the hourglass design for this grille. I like on the newer models from Lexus that they've incorporated the grille a little bit nicer with the rest of the bodywork, so it doesn't stand out quite as much having that full surround. Everything blends in very nicely with all the gloss black accents. Now the Lexus badge is also the forward-facing sensor, and there's a camera just underneath that. Plenty of cutouts in that grille to provide a lot of cooling to that engine. There's also parking sensors. This has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. The DRLs are not as crisp as I've seen in previous models, but it's a really nice housing with that triple beam design. This even has headlight washers that will pop out as needed. There's LED fog lights in the lower section, and there's some really nice indentions running down the hood. From the driver's seat, you can see this half pipe area very distinctively. I will show that, of course, once we hop behind the wheel. So it has a great presence to it, especially for the size. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 22-inch wheels. Beautiful combo against this exterior color with the multi-spoke design. And this also has the adaptive suspension. So currently it is in the highest ground clearance possible, giving it well over that 8.9 inches. And then it can go all the way down into the entry and exit height as needed. Now the power folding side mirrors are gloss black. There's the turn signal, camera system, and the window trim has a black chrome accent to it with gloss black on the door handles. Nice lines in the lower section too, as well as above both fender arches. So I think it has a really good modern design to it. Built-in side steps to make it that much easier to enter and exit. But as we take a look at the rear now, it has the built-in spoiler here with the third brake light. It's body colored, of course. Wiper blade in the lower section. This has full LEDs running throughout that power liftgate. All the sensors, even that trim accent piece in the lower diffuser. And if you remove this cover, it is hiding the hitch. This can tow just over 8,000 pounds, which is pretty respectable for the engine that is offered. Now as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob, or you can use the button that's located by the backup camera. It is an electronic button. And that will open up the entire power liftgate. Now this is a 3-row vehicle with the third row currently up. There's not a whole lot of space to place any items. Anything thin that you have will fit, of course, but with the third row up, you are limited a little bit on that storage. On the driver's side, there is a 3-prong outlet, and then you can actually fold down all of these seats by using the controls. So I'm just going to fold down the third row at the moment. So it is electronic. Just by pushing on those buttons, you will see those fold down. But now you can tell with the third row down, if you don't have a need for those, normal amount of space like an SUV would. So it's great to see that. You can fold down the second row by pushing on these buttons. You can fold all of them down with the push of one button. The second row is manual to pop back up, so you do have to walk around to do that. But it's nice that you can at least fold them down from the back seating area. And then with the power liftgate, 2 buttons over on the passenger side, you can lock the vehicle or just push the one on the left side and it will just close that power liftgate. Now as we work our way to the back seating area, this door panel has a beautiful design to it with all the black leather, the wood trim. This even has a manual adjusting sunshade. It has the Mark Levinson audio sound system. There's some gloss black that surrounds the window controls, and this even has some headphones that you can pair with the optional screens, which we will get to. And for the second row, we have the beautiful black leather seats. In order to gain access into the third row, if I push this button next to the headrest, it will actually move that front seat to get it out of the way in order for this seat to move the rest of the way. So just by pushing on that, it will fold and then make its way up. So now at 5'10", I can make my way to the third row where there's only 2 seats, but look at the amount of space that I have for my feet. Now my knees are going to be up because I am sitting pretty low to the ground, but I have plenty of room for my feet and my legs. My head is just touching the headliner. Honestly, if I had to be back here, I could. It's pretty doable to ride around town. Not on a long road trip or anything. You'd want some smaller people to ride in the back, but it's doable for 2 people. Cup holder and storage space on this left side. You can even recline and incline this seat, which is nice. There's an auxiliary. Same thing over on the passenger side. And then you can even adjust both of these backrests by pushing on those. So from the second row, you can put the seat up or down, just like you saw with the control in the back side. So it's a little bit more versatile, a little bit of space in between both seats too. So it's nice. If you need that added space, and it's just as easy to hop out, we can grab this seat, lock it into place, and then flip it into its upright position. Now there is a grab handle to help me enter these back seats, and they do recline. So I can just pull on this lever that you saw earlier and go all the way back, where I have plenty of room now above my head here at 5'10". Hopefully you can tell this is all the way up and then all the way reclined. So you can watch a movie and hang out in the second row of this vehicle. And with the vehicle on, this is what you can get on these screens in the back. So there's settings that you can go through. You can shut the screen off if you'd like to. You can get into the audio, so you can adjust it from the back seats. And then if I push on this, here's all these icons that you can further adjust. More of the radio, Bluetooth, you have some music that you can go into, and then you can also look at the Miracast. So I'm sure that's how you can pair your phone to the system or whatever device you have in order to play something on the screen. So not a whole lot of information, but it does give you some usable information and being able to watch some movies or anything like that, which is pretty cool to see. Now there's 2 storage pockets in the back, air vents in the middle, along with all the climate adjustments. You can see those adjustments for the dual zone temperature in the back. These are even heated and ventilated seats. There's modes, so you can decide where you'd like the air to go, and a few other controls. And then at the very bottom, look at all the auxiliaries. There's an HDMI, so you could hook up your computer or something that way. There's the headphone jacks, along with some other auxiliaries to charge even more electronics. Now right in the middle, if you don't have a passenger, there's the armrest and 2 cup holders if you need to use those. As far as visibility goes, pretty easy to see all around. There's also air vents up there for your third row passengers, so they can be equally as comfortable. So definitely very spacious. For the front door panels, it's just like the rear. However, there's some memory seating adjustments, all of the window adjustments, which are power folding, and then a little bit more storage. Lexus is written out on the door sill there, and we have the same attention to detail for these front seats. Another grab handle too. So even in the highest setting, you can easily jump up into this SUV. Now for the steering wheel, there's wood trim, there's also leather to give it a fantastic look. On this right side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, mode and tuning for the audio. This even has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. On the left side, there's volume and Bluetooth and voice commands, and these arrows for the digital gauge cluster. So let's fire this up with my foot on the brake. That button is on the right. We can bring this to life. And looking at the gauge cluster, on the left side, there's some vitals. On the right side, there's the fuel level and the battery voltage. And right in the middle, you can go through a lot more info, where currently it's showing miles per hour, along with the range, average speed. You can look at the eco meter, along with TPMS, and then even pull up a calm screen too. There's also some current information you can monitor. If I scroll over to the right, there's the compass, along with music when you have that on, the lane keeping and cruise control, any messages, and then the last one is settings, where you can go through some of the tech features that are available, along with the head-up display and everything like that. So just depending on how you want this to be set up, the sensitivity with it, you can go through all of that information. So not a ton of info, but it is nice to have right in the middle there. Now over on the left side of the steering wheel, there is a little bit of a storage bin where you could place some coins like there is in there now, or some other smaller items. You can open up the power lift gate. There's the engine start stop feature. There's the odometer and some other settings for that. There's even a view button for the camera system. So just by clicking on that, it will play this diagram showing you what's around this vehicle at the moment. So if you're just getting into it, you want to scan everything before you get in and drive, you can monitor that 360 view. If I push on view again, it will disappear and go back to the infotainment system. This also has the head-up display. So currently it is showing the compass along with what gear you're in, miles per hour, and the tach. And then right in the middle, this screen size is not new from Lexus, but it offers a lot. On this far left side, there is a physical button for power and volume for the radio. As you can tell right now, navigation is in full screen. You can get into the music, get into your phone when that is paired. Under vehicle, there's some trip information that you can monitor, just depending on what you would like to see, along with vehicle alert. And then some general settings like you saw in the rear that you can go through just depending on how you would like to configure it. Now there's not a whole lot of info in this screen, but I do like the sizing of it and what is available. Now underneath that, there's actually a secondary screen with an air vent on both sides. This is for the climate adjustments. So there's the fan speed, which you can easily get to, along with where you'd like the air to go for your driver and your passenger. There's the temperature icons. So just by using these physical buttons, you will see that adjust. There's also the braking and accelerating, what drive mode the vehicle is currently in. We are in 4 high. You can see the normal mode. There's a G-force meter too. We even have the adjustment for the suspension, so you can turn that on and off for the heights, which I will show here soon. And then on this left side, you can quickly get into all of the climates for your front or your rear passengers. We can pull up the icon that was just shown, and then even go into some of the lighting that you can configure as you would like to. Over on this right side, you can even push on this for the easy entry exit to be on or off. So it's a pretty cool integrated screen right in the middle. Now underneath that, there's the temperature dials like I mentioned, hazards, you can shut the AC off, there's the heated mirrors, even the climate concierge. So I believe that's an automatic setting. And when you hop in, that will automatically do its thing. There's a defroster too, really nicely integrated into this gloss black piece. Now underneath that, there's the mode select. So I can go into Sport S along with Sport S Plus. There's a custom setting, normal, comfort, and eco. So just depending on how you would like to drive this, you can easily set that up. Right in the middle, there's also the multi-terrain select. So you can use that in conjunction with the crawl control and the downhill assist control. By using those buttons, you can take this off the pavement, go into the mode that you would like to. It will also adjust the suspension for you and raise and lower that as needed with the driving mode there. And you can take this off the pavement. Crawl control basically modulates how the power is being sent to each wheel. So that way, if there is wheel slippage, it can put that power to a different wheel in order to gain more traction. Very interesting to see that technology for this type of luxury off-road model. And then the far icon is for the different four-wheel drive selectors. So there's 4 low and then 4 high. Now underneath that, this does have heated and ventilated seats along with a heated steering wheel. Those controls for the seats are on both sides. A little bit of storage underneath, along with having some auxiliaries so you can charge even more electronics. And then if I put this into reverse, the backup camera will appear where there's the guidelines that you can change as needed. And you will see those on that right side there. But you have some really good graphics. If I put this into drive now, the forward-facing camera will pop up. So now you can see what's in front of you. You can also shift using the shifter, of course, or the paddle shifters as needed. Now there's the e-brake along with the auto hold. This does have a center locking differential. There's traction control and then the icons to raise and lower this vehicle. Right in the middle, there's a wireless charging pad. It's laid out very well right in the middle with the lips on all sides, so that way it's not going to go anywhere. There's cup holders on that one side, and there's actually 2 different ways that you can open the center armrest. So depending on who needs to gain access to it, this even has the cool box. So you basically have a fridge right in the middle where you can place some food or drinks as needed. And then for the glove box over here, plenty of space for all the information, more leather covering the entire dash. And this does have a sunroof. We'll take a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Seems pretty open which is nice to see. Up top, there's the dome lights along with the sunroof adjustments, even a sunglass holder too, which is very convenient to have. As we set off now behind the wheel for the all-new Lexus LX600, this has been an SUV that I've been trying to film for the last several weeks, maybe even a month or so, because they are all pretty much pre-sold units. This is in high demand. Lexus, at least the dealership that I'm at, can barely keep them on the lot because everyone that comes in has already been pre-sold. There's that much of a demand for this all-new SUV. And I think primarily because the Toyota Land Cruiser is no longer being available for the United States. This is pretty much your swap over into Lexus to get essentially the same SUV in style. Now with the Toyota Land Cruiser, that had a V8 engine that was not twin turbo. So in this, we get a better power plant, a little bit more fuel efficient, still a good amount of towing capabilities, and we get a pretty cool refresh and redesign basically for this Lexus SUV. Now the luxury trim level, $108,000. You can go under 6 figures if you go with a base model. Above this is the ultra luxury trim level, which I believe is right around 112 or so. So you have a big range depending on the options that you want to get. This one, not heavily optioned. We do have the screens in the back, but for this luxury trim level, I think it's worth 6 figures. Lexus and Toyota are pretty much 1 and 2 right now for reliability. So you're going to buy a vehicle that is going to last you a long time. Customers of Toyota and Lexus usually own their vehicles around 10 years or so. And I can attest to that. My parents have owned Toyotas and they have owned them for more than 10 years at a time when they do have them. So this is something that you'll get your money out of. It will hold its value, I think, pretty well. Toyotas in general usually hold their value well. This being a 6-figure Lexus, I don't know, it might dip a little bit, but Toyota and Lexus do have a high rate of their resale value on the used market, which is awesome to see. And so with that out of the way, let's pop it into sport mode now. Let's go to Sport S Plus. Here we go. Wow, I was not expecting that amount of get up and go. This is a heavy vehicle, but that got up. The paddles are pretty responsive too, and that was impressive. This has that power that I think the Toyota Land Cruiser kind of lacked in a sense, having more of a old school engine in it, having this twin turbo V8 now. Let's go to second gear, give it another acceleration. I'm impressed. We're coming up to a sharp right turn. This is not a performance-oriented model. You can feel the weight of it, but that's impressive. This is not an F-Sport model. It doesn't have the suspension for that. We have the comfortable, adaptive, and raisable suspension, but taking this around turns like that almost seems effortless. You can feel the weight of it. It's a big vehicle, but that's impressive. I like how it drives so far. I love how soft it is too. This suspension just absorbs all of these bumps, and you're riding on a cloud. It's at that level of suspension where bumps like that, you feel them, but it's not. It's nice. It's a good bump to hit when you have this type of suspension. From second gear, here we go. As we come around a sharp right, you can feel the weight of this for sure, but it handles it well. I am impressed, and the paddles are super responsive. So we're driving around a 6-figure Lexus. I think I can see that being justifiable. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you can get into this $80,000 roughly for a base model, and we are almost in the top trim level, fully loaded. So you do have a range. It's an expensive SUV, but it's so quiet, comfortable, smooth to drive, would be an excellent daily driver. I didn't mention earlier, but from the exterior, the bulges in the hood from the driver's seat look pretty cool. You can easily place that passenger corner. It's a large SUV. So if you're buying this, obviously you know what you are getting into, but at the same time too, it's easy to keep within these lines because of the hood design and everything. I can tell where the passenger wheels are, and it's super easy to drive for its size. I really like the fact too that when you slow down, this is a setting that you can configure, but the forward-facing camera will appear, and we have visibility underneath the vehicle, top down, and I can see what is in front of me at the moment. That is interesting that it just went solid. Oh, so it goes solid when you stop, which is interesting to see. And we'll do another acceleration. We'll get into a second gear. Here we go. The transmission is so smooth, just like that. It's impressive. I like the new power plant. We have a lot of power, fuel efficient, and super smooth to drive. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this all new 2023 Lexus LX600 Luxury. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this luxury style SUV for me today. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.